Hi, I'm Jess League, and this is the PowerPoint I would have shown you had I been here for open house. I just wanted to talk you through it so you could still get part of the experience. First of all, I want to thank you guys so much for being so involved with your students' education and for everyone who filled out the parent info sheet. So many people gave me a lot of valuable insights to your students, to my students, your children, my students, and a lot of you seemed really excited to get involved and participate in some way. So I'm really excited about that and how we might be able to work together throughout the year to give your child a very relevant, good, well-rounded education. So thank you so much for that. My goals for tonight are just to give you a rundown of what we do in the classroom, help you understand what the class is ultimately about, my expectations for the class, and some tips for you and some resources for you that will help you engage in this process at home as well, so you can support them at home. But I do want to explain, I'm so sorry that I couldn't be here in person. I'm starting a doctoral program in English pedagogy and technology, and I'm so excited to start it, but I'm also really bummed because tonight is the very first class on the first course that I have to take, and you have to be present for the webinar that they're going to host it on. So I've got to be there, and it just happens at the same time as open house tonight. So I'm really sorry. I'm always here for open house, and I was really looking forward to meeting everybody. But if you'd like to meet with me and talk in person, I'd love to do that. You can set something up through your child's counselor. Otherwise, feel free to call me, email me anytime. I love for parents to be involved with their students' education because it makes such a big difference. But I'm also losing my voice today, which the students can probably tell you. I started out normal this morning, and it is 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and this is where I'm at now. So I don't normally sound like this either. Anyway, let's get on with the presentation, and I'll just let you know what we're going to be doing. So American literature is basically a survey of everything from from natives and the first meetings with the Europeans all the way up to contemporary literature. We read a lot of fiction and nonfiction together. One of the things that I'm focusing on in class this year is how to take even the old works that we need to read for historical purposes and how we can make them relevant to today and how we can look at them through a different lens to glean some knowledge as far as, for example, if we're going to read Patrick Henry's speech to the Virginia Convention, it's historically very relevant, but a lot of students today don't really know to appreciate that. So what I'm trying to do this year is totally different from what I've done the past 8 years I've been teaching it, is I want to look at it through the lens of, okay, this is Patrick Henry trying to convince people to go to war with England right before the Revolutionary War, and this is a speech that he gave. Why did he do it this way? Who was his audience? How did he cater to his audience? Would the way he did it back then, would that work now? If not, how would we adapt it to make it work now? And so we're going to look at some of the tools and techniques that they use, that people used way back in the day when having something published or getting the word out on something that was important to them was much more difficult theoretically than it is today with the internet. If I wanted, the whole world to see a post that I make, then, theoretically I can go on the internet and make it available. The problem with that is, and I keep saying theoretically, is that the world stage for our students is very, very crowded. And I told them the first week of school that, one one post of a cat video or one celebrity doing something very silly can overshadow your very, very important cause very quickly. And so what we're going to focus on is learning from these masters back in the day. How did they convince their audience? How did they attract their audience? How did they engage their audience? And how can we take what they knew and apply it to our circumstances today? So that's what we're going to be doing as far as the readings and the curriculum. This class has a very strong writing program as well. You might, if you've talked to your child today and asked them what they did, they might have informed you that we're doing a TED Talk for our research project. And every Thursday, we will have a TED Talk Thursday. And we're going to work slowly but surely together. We're going to ease into it, warm up to the idea, and eventually we'll get into our research unit where they're going to research and produce their very own version of a TED Talk. So they're gonna have just there's a lot of stuff. So I've tried to explain it all to them. It's something I'm super excited about, but I sent home a handout today that'll kind of give you an idea of where I'm taking it. So and they have a special homework assignment tonight that's due before next Thursday when we talk about our research project again. So definitely talk to them about that. I'm super excited about it. I've had several students come and tell me that they're excited about it. So I hope that you get excited about it too, and we can all just come together and really support these kids and see some really great TED Talks from them. It's going to be so awesome, or TED style talks, I should say. So that's going on. We will be writing just about every day. I mean, it's a daily thing. With their Chromebooks, I would prefer that they do most of their work and turn it in through Blackboard. So that's what I'm going to use the most. And so they should bring that every day and expect to be writing every day. We'll also, with the TED Talk, we'll do the research assignments, oral expression. We have a new website for vocabulary development that I'll show you here momentarily. Of course, we'll focus on grammar, analytical, critical thinking, and college entrance test preparation. And I just want to remind you that this is a milestone course, so that means that the first semester I'll write the exam, but then the second semester the state writes the exam. It's a milestone, so we'll be preparing them for that as well. As far as grading works, we'll do most of the work that we do that will be graded is the homework and class practice. So what we do is every lesson that I put on Blackboard, I have the standards listed that we're going to be focusing on, and those are going to be the standards that they're going to be grading on. They're going to be graded on. And those are the standards we're focusing on for that particular lesson. So they'll get a lot of practice in groups. They'll get a lot of practice individually. And then when I feel like they're ready, I'll give them the formative assessment. So class practice and homework are little tiny things just to, help you learn. And then the formative assessment is, okay, I've taught you a particular skill, and I think you should be able to do it independently now. That's going to be 25% of their grade. Summative assessments are going to be tests, essays, the larger portions of assessments that happen at the end of a unit. I've taught you these skills. Now I want you to put it all together and pass this test. The research, all the TED Talk projects, they're going to have little assignments here and there all the way up till the end of the semester where they actually present their TED Talk. And all of that will fall in the research category. So, for example, they have a very easy homework assignment to do where they just have to interview someone that they trust. And I'll let you talk to them about that yourself and let them tell you about it. But that's 100 points, and it's so important, so crucial to the whole project this one really seemingly easy assignment is very, very, very important. So if they get that done, that's 100 in the research category right there. And these little assignments will build up for them. So it'll give them a little bit of a cushion in case something, God forbid, dreadful happens when they actually turn in their research project. And then the final exam, as always, is 20% of their final grade. For homework, I post the homework on Blackboard and in class in the classroom regularly. There's a bunch of signs on one side of the board for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and I write their homework there every Monday. Sometimes it might change if we don't really get to something that I thought we would get to. I get excited, I plan ahead. So I'll let them know if that changes, and of course I'll change it on Blackboard as well so that you guys can see that and see the updated version. Okay, this is what my child is supposed to do for homework, or no, they're right, they really don't have homework tonight. Students will have to read regularly. With the one-to-one, I'm going to put the articles that they need to read on Blackboard. They have access to their collections ebook on Blackboard, and that gives them the opportunity to listen to different things that we have to read, because some people learn better from listening to it and reading and following along. And I'll also, for articles that I've chosen for them to read that aren't in the collections textbook, I'll read those and post them on my brand new YouTube channel so they can listen to that as well. So they will have to read regularly outside of class, and that way they can read it and go over it as many times as they need to, so that when they come to class we can discuss it and actually do some really neat stuff with it. The vocabulary that I was talking about is on a website called Membean, and I've given you a link here. The link is in Blackboard. So basically they signed in today and they enrolled themselves and everything. And what this does is you can kind of see right here on what it looks like for them. But the first thing they had to do is it said calibrate. And it gave them a diagnostic to see where they were as far as their vocabulary acquisition thus far. And then it'll take where they are and give them some words that they can actually use that is an appropriate level for them, and it'll work with them. They'll give them these web pages here so you can listen to it, you can answer questions about it. I signed up over the summer and the web page that I had a video with a snippet from The Office where Dwight Schrute used my word like 3 or 4 different times in one particular scene. And so they'll have stuff like that on there. And so what we want the kids to do is, they've already taken their diagnostic now. We want them to practice for 15 minutes 3 times a week. And then at the end of the week, every Friday, starting August 25th, so not tomorrow, but next Friday, they'll have their verse quiz. And every Friday they'll have a quiz at the beginning of class. But I'll give them some time in class to work on Membean as we have time to do that, with the curriculum. But it's mainly going to be something that they'll have to do on their own, especially studying for the quizzes, because everyone in the room could theoretically have a different quiz because they're all starting with different words based on where they are. So that's what Membean is. It's really, really cool. I think it's going to be a really effective resource for them. And yeah, I think you guys will like it quite a bit too. So you should try it out. I mean, you should, you can enroll yourself. That's okay. You can use my class codes on Blackboard. You can enroll yourself, and I promise, I won't judge or anything. I won't look, but it's really a lot of fun. So you should do it with your child if you can. Students will work on majority of their research project outside of class, and the way the TED Talk will work is we have TED Talk Thursdays where we'll drop what we're doing every Thursday, and we'll do something to advance in that project for them. And then once we get to the research portion where they're getting down and dirty and they're really starting to put their talk together and put their presentation together, then we'll be in our research unit and we'll spend a week or 2 just working on that. But up until then, They're going to have some little things to do outside to prepare mentally for what they're going to be discussing. So that's the homework. I really, really encourage you to get involved. I've included a link here on how to log into Blackboard as a parent, and I definitely would love for you to do that. If you have any issues with this, or you just prefer somebody walk you through it, just give me a call. My phone number is on the bottom of the email that I sent you, and you can just call me. We'll set up a time that works for both of us, and I can help walk you through that process and get you all ready to go. Also, I'm sending home a weekly newsletter, and this goes to your email that's in Infinite Campus. So if you're not getting it, then that means I don't have your email. So you might want to go in and update Infinite Campus. But the newsletter, if you haven't seen it, is a s'more newsletter, and it looks like this. This is the very first one that I sent out, and I'm just attaching a link here because you have our Twitter for our classroom here where you can follow us. You have my Facebook here if you want to follow me there. My contact information, my phone number. Here is a video to the class, a video of the classroom that you can check out, and then the getting to know you form that I mentioned earlier in the presentation. Every week we'll give them some inspiration to inspire them, liven them up a little bit. So I'll share that with you too. The best part of this newsletter for you, though, in my opinion, is going to be what we're reading, what we're learning, and ways to extend learning at home. So what I'll do is I'll give you a couple of things that we're going to read in class together that I think you might find interesting too. And then I'll talk to you about ways that you can, share in this process at home if you're interested. It's not required, of course, but ways that you can talk to your child about some of the things we're talking about in English to make it even more relevant, and so that you can talk to them about your own family's values regarding what we're discussing in class. One of the things that we talked about the first week of school was author's purpose, and so I put that in here and said, this week we're going to discuss author's purpose. After learning about how fiction has the power to change the way you think, we will talk about the importance of considering the author's intentions when she or he sits down to write. As things come up in different types of media when you're with your child, discuss with them what the creator's purpose may be in creating that media and whether or not that purpose aligns with your family's values. We talked about how important it is to be aware of what you're reading and what you're watching, because we read an article from Scientific American Mind that said studies are showing that fiction can really change the way a person thinks about things. It can, for example, in an MRI scan, when people read the words, something about, John dropped his pencil, the part of their brain that would activate to control the hand to pick up that pencil, it showed activity. So it's actually having a physical impact on you. And we talked about how powerful that is and how we can use that power for good. But we also talked about how people may use that power for not so good reasons. And how do we discern what they're using that power for? And how do we discern if it's something that we agree with or not? Does it align with our values or not? So that's something that's so important, especially right before they go to college and they're going to get exposed to so many different ideas from so many different professors. It's a really important conversation to have at home, just to, at least figure out where they stand and let them know where you stand on certain issues that are important to y'all. So definitely read the newsletter. The class rules are pretty simple. I just expect the kids to, come in and be respectful and responsible, be on time, be organized, be prepared, all these bullet points listed here. I will tell you that so far, things have been really, really great. I'm so impressed with the kids. They're all so smart. And I really cannot wait. I've been so excited because I've changed so many things about how I teach over the summer. And I've been really excited to try some new things with them. And I think they're into it, you know. And if not, they're definitely acting like they are. So there's that. But your kids are awesome. I love your kids. I would never want to be anywhere else but here. I'm so excited to come to work every day. For school policies, I'm going to go exactly by the school handbook, obviously. So if you had trouble finding that handbook, I gave you a link to it right here. So any concerns you have, check the school handbook first, and it's probably in there. And if not, then come to me and ask me, and I'll try to help you the best way I can, find the answer for you. So this is a part where I would take questions, but obviously I'm not here. So what I would ask for you, though, is to please email me back any comments or questions that you have. If you wanted to get together and talk about something important in particular to your child, I don't want to miss out on that conversation. So please do email me. You can call their counselor and set something up directly, or you can email me and I can set it up through their counselor and have their counselor contact you and find a good time for you and I to meet. But I definitely want to get to know you better and get to know your children better. Like I said, I'm very, very excited about this year, and I'd like to meet you guys too, because y'all are pretty important people. But thank you so much. I won't take up any more of your time, and please do call me or email me if you have any questions. Thank you so much.